We're grateful that you join us for the ChannelOne newsroom on ChannelOne television. I am Omar Sanda Amadou. Settle for details of our stories, and we start from Parliament. And MPs involved in the violent clashes during the Appointments Committee sitting on Thursday, January 30, have been suspended for 2 weeks. The decision, announced by the Speaker, Alban Suman and Kingsford Bagman on Friday, January 31, 2025, intimated it is an indication of Parliament's strong stance against misconduct and breaches of decorum among lawmakers. The incidents in question occurred on the evening of Thursday, January 30, and the morning of Friday, January 31. ChannelOne News' Ni Aikwe Okain, who is our correspondent in Parliament, has more.
A disagreement ensued during the vetting of ministerial nominees at the Appointments Committee on Thursday evening, where the minority raised concerns about the day's proceedings, arguing that it had had a long day, hence the need for the rescheduling of the vetting of Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, the Minister-designate for Foreign Affairs, and Kwabena Mintah Kando, the Minister-designate for Health. However, the majority insisted on going on with the vetting of these two nominees. This degenerated into chaos, with some members of Parliament as well as members of the committee breaking tables and microphones at the Appointments Committee sitting. Now, during proceedings in Parliament on Friday, the Speaker, Alban Bagman, described the incident as a blatant contempt of the House, thereby suspending both the majority and minority chief whips of the House, Frank Anadompre and Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekbo, as well as the Gushegu MP, Alhassan Tampuli, and Wage Agbawe MP, Jerry Ahmed Shaib.
Leaders from the various caucuses should take the consequential actions to continue with their leadership. But the Marshal is hereby directed to ensure the full enforcement of this suspension in accordance with the rules of the House.
The Speaker also announced the immediate recomposition of the Appointments Committee.
I further direct the Clerk to Parliament to formally lodge a complaint with the Ghana Police Service to conduct a full criminal investigation into the matter for appropriate action. 4, I call for an immediate meeting of the Committee of Selection today, to reconstitute the Appointments Committee as a matter of urgency.
Alban Bagman also established a 7-member committee chaired by Ho West MP Emmanuel Bedra to report on the matter within 10 days after its investigation.
A 7-member special committee shall be constituted under Orders 5 and 20, Rule 4, to conduct a full-scale investigation into the events of yesterday and this morning. The committee shall identify all members involved in the disorder and submit its report with findings and recommendations within 10 days from today. The committee is to be chaired by Honorable Emmanuel Bedra. Other members, Honorable Kwame Anyimedu Anchu, Honorable Gisela Akushika Tete Agbotui, Mrs. Honorable Abina Osei Asare, Mrs. Honorable Zaneto Ajiman Rollins, Doctor. Honorable Vincent Opong Asamoah, and Honorable Bede and Watazuma Zedem, I direct the Clerk to Parliament to cause to be undertaken a full assessment of all damage caused within the committee room and parliamentary presence as a result of the misconduct of the members. Not a single peso of public funds shall be used to repair or replace any damaged property. Instead, members found responsible shall be surcharged for the full cost of repairs and replacement, with deductions from their emoluments.
But the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, believes that this action would serve as a deterrent to all lawmakers. For Channel One News from Parliament, Ni Ayukwe Okai.
So there you have it, the Speaker suspending 4 members of Parliament. 2 of them, actually 3, are leaders of the House, and they have been asked to go home for 2 weeks because of their involvement in the violence and the agitation and also the chaos we saw in Parliament last night. Let's speak to a member of Parliament, and he has not been suspended. The Honourable MP for Madina, Francis Xavier Sosu, is a human rights lawyer. He's joined us via phone. Honourable, you're welcome to Channel One Newsroom.
Yeah, thank you, Maro, and good evening to your channel.
Good evening to you. So what's your initial reaction having, I don't know if you were in the chamber when the gavel went down on this statement or this decision by the Speaker. What do you make of it?
Yes, I was in the chamber when the Speaker gave out this, gave the formal communication suspending our colleagues. And I can just say that I highly applaud the Speaker of Parliament for actually bringing this discipline into the House. It's so important that the Speaker did what he did, because a house of lawmakers shouldn't be turned into a lawless house. And the earlier we nip this in the back, the better. And so in order for this lawless behavior and lawlessness not to repeat itself, I think that the Speaker of Parliament needs to be highly commended for being bold, for being fearless, and for applying the rules without fear or favor.
Now, there's a view that it was rather a harsh decision coming from the Speaker. You clearly agree with the Speaker's decision, but there's a view that it was harsh. There's even an issue of whether the Speaker went through the right procedure. What's your comment on that?
Well, I think that we cannot fault the Speaker at this point, because when you read our standing orders, the new standing orders, particularly Order 20, the Speaker has a wide range of functions, and one of those functions of the Speaker, and that is a mandatory function. For example, like when we look at Order 20, Rule 2, for example, it says that, Rule 4, it says that the Speaker shall uphold the honor, dignity, and the sanctity of the House. Now, when the Speaker is of the view that the honor, the dignity, and sanctity of the House has been brought to dispute, the Speaker needs to act. And the Speaker rightfully, within the standing orders of Parliament, acted, to suspend those colleagues of ours in accordance with Order 130 of our standing orders, whilst asking that further investigation be done into the matters. Of course, you recall that the Speaker had the privilege also of monitoring the appointment committee's hearing. He's seen video evidence of what happened. He knows specifically the officers, the leaders of various caucuses who were directly involved, because you could see the video. So I believe that as a first step, this is what he's done. What is left now is for the 7-member committee that he said to now do the fact findings for us to know who is culpable for what, so that then they are called upon to pay for those things. I think that, Omaro, look, where our democracy have reached, it's so important that there is some sanity in the House, so that moving forward, people may not just take the law into their own hands, and then when they cannot argue on their feet, then they resort to all kinds of disturbances that disrupt the House. We don't need that. We need the seriousness of the House to reset this country. Many things have gone wrong, and everybody must act within the limits of the law so the country can be reset. But we can't have a lawless parliament trying to assist His Excellency the President to reset this country.
Okay, if you could just indulge me, Honorable, I want to hear from someone who has been monitoring your work as a parliament for many years. I want to pick his thoughts and come back to you. So if you could just indulge me and stay on the line for me. That's
very well.
Medina MP Francis Xavier. So let me go on the other line, speak to Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Rahman. Doc, it appears this is the first time we are saying this. I don't know, you have been doing the monitoring. It's a precedent, isn't it?
Expected. You remember, during the beginning of the 8th Parliament, there was some lawlessness in the House, and nobody was punished. And I think that has emboldened people and led to what we saw yesterday. I mean, you can disagree, and I think disagreement is in order in a political space like a parliament. But, to get to this extent, destroying public property and throwing, objects, somebody could have died yesterday, and that would have been a very big problem on our hands. And so for me, the Right Honorable Speaker did what is honorable and did what Ghanaians expected him to do.
So this has been long in coming. 4 years ago it happened, nothing was done. And
yes,
you believe that is what has emboldened those who engaged in what happened last night to do what they did, knowing that they have immunities and all of that?
Yeah, exactly. So right now, I think the Right Honorable Speaker, through this action, which I believe is grounded in law, because I heard you raise the issue about some say perhaps some of the actions are too harsh and illegal. I mean, I have looked at most of the provisions that they have, the standing orders, the Constitution, their own code of conduct, and then the Parliament Act. I don't have all of them in front of me here, but I believe the Right Honorable Speaker, found grounding in all these legal documents before he went to this extent. And in doing that, Sanda, I think he has drawn a line. There is a line that you cannot cross, because already, the image of our parliament is at its lowest. And among the three arms of government, people even trust the executive more than parliament. And then we have this. And you go online, listen to social media, listen to what citizens are saying. No, this is not what we expect. And this is not what Ghanaians voted for. The change that Ghanaians voted for, I think includes the change in orientation and attitude of the people who lead us.
I want to ask you, what do you think leadership can do? And I refer to leadership of the two sides to prevent this from happening in the future. Then I realized 3 of the 4 who have been suspended are leaders. How do we fix this?
Well, I think the way to fix this, there are still some leaders, who are not suspended. The minority leader is not. The majority leader is not. Sanda, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but see, if you look at the whips, are very important leaders. Whips are supposed to be
hello?
Can you hear me, Doc?
Yes, I can hear you now.
So if you look at the 2 whips on each side, they are the operational leaders of the chamber. They are the guys who are the vanguard, the leaders of the vanguard.
Yes.
And now they were engaging in this lawlessness. They have been penalized. Should they even be removed in their positions, you think, or they should come back and sin no more?
Well, I believe that as part of this, the Right Honorable Speaker has taken a 2-pronged approach in terms of dealing with this matter. First of all, what he did, and then secondly, he has referred the clerk to Parliament to write to the Ghana police to institute a criminal investigation. I believe at the end of it all, I mean, the work of the committee that has been set up and then the work of the police, if there is criminality, I believe maybe they might not even have to be sacked. They might sack themselves. And so we have to wait and see. But to be honest with you, I think today's action just sends a very clear message that even if you are a leader and you act in a way that, that doesn't show leadership, then your neck is on the line.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's Dr. Rashid Draman. He's with the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Let me conclude, the Honorable MP for Medina, Francis Xavier. So, Honorable, so 4 of your men, 3 of them being your leaders, have been sent home for the next 2 weeks. How is it going to affect your operations? Because already it was a subject of debate at the Appointments Committee, for which reason the minority side recused itself. They said that they believe the committee was not properly constituted as a result. It is clearly going to affect your work, wouldn't it? Honorable Sosu, can you hear me? Hello? Honorable Francis Xavier Sosu, can you hear me? Apologies, I do not have him. I lost him there momentarily. This is ChannelOne Newsroom on ChannelOne Television. We are broadcasting from number 5 Ola Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra. The background is that the Appointments Committee of Parliament was sitting on Thursday night, and when it was time to vet the Honorable Kwamina Minta Kando, the minority side resisted that particular vetting. They said that it was not part of the schedule. Now, confusion broke out, and the minority side especially engaged in a lot of thuggery and destruction of parliamentary infrastructure. Tables were broken, microphones were destroyed. Eventually, the committee had to adjourn, and the Speaker of Parliament today at the sitting suspended 4 of them. The Honorable Nelson Roxon, the Cheda Famakbo, who is the whip on the majority side, and then 3 others from the MPP side. The Honorable Frank Anodompre, who is a minority whip, and also his deputy MP for Wejagba, Jari Ahmed Shaib, and former MP currently for Gusau, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Gusau, also was suspended. So 4 of them have been suspended. Meanwhile, the Appointments Committee has been sitting. So the Honorable Samuel Kujeta Blackwell was vetted today. The Honorable Kwamina Minta Kando was vetted today. And then so many other regional minister nominees were vetted. It appears that even though the minority has walked out or recused itself, the committee is still continuing with its work and now behaving or moving at a light of speed, or the speed of light, I beg your pardon. Let me go to Charles Osukumi. He's in Parliament for us. Charles, is the vetting still ongoing, or they have closed for the day?
Yes, Sanda. So the vetting is currently ongoing. In there now is the Bono Regional designate, Adai Akwabwa. He's a lawyer. He has just gone in there facing the vetting committee. So since the majority side exited the vetting, about 5 more nominees have been vetted. And you mentioned earlier in the morning, the minority leader, the Honorable Afenyo Marking, while vetting was ongoing, mentioned to the chairman that he had received some correspondence from the speaker to the effect that the speaker had directed the selection committee to reconstitute the appointment committee immediately. And so he was looking forward to the committee members obeying the orders of the speaker. But the chairman, the Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, he insisted that the vetting of the nominees continue, and so the Honorable Afenya Makin said that he couldn't be seen to be disobeying the speaker, so he was recusing himself from the vetting, and then the other members of the majority group also left. Since then, 5 more ministerial nominees have been vetted. It looks like the committee is determined to go ahead and exhaust the list of nominees that they had originally advertised last night. Before these 5, of course, the Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa was vetted for long hours, and then before him the Honorable Minta Kando, the Health Minister designate, was also vetted. Now, the exit of the majority caucus, it was quite coming. It was brewing throughout the day. Earlier, very early in the morning, while the vetting for Minta Kando was ongoing, the minority members raised questions as to why there was no pre-committee meeting to determine the modalities of the meeting, the number of ministerial nominees to be vetted. And so they raised these concerns and even held a press conference earlier, raising certain concerns. Now, after a meeting between the leaders, the vetting did continue, and then these 7 nominees have so far been vetted. After the Bunu Regional Minister designates, we expect that the Minister of State in charge of communications will also have a stand at the vetting committee, the Honorable Felix Kwache Ofosu. His supporters lined up here in the corridor of the vetting committee, waiting patiently for Kwache Ofosu's vetting to happen soon.
Charles, thank you. Even though you kept mistakenly referring to the MPP side as a majority, I think your mind is still not crossing over yet. But you meant to say the minority, didn't you?
Yeah, the minority I meant, yes.
Very well. Thank you so much. That's Charles Osukumi reporting to us from the precincts of the committee room 1 and 2, where the appointments committee is vetting nominees of President John Mahama, who will send that list to the House of Parliament. And this is happening. It's a one-sided committee now because the MPP side, the minority side, has recused itself or staged a walkout.